There was, I guess the second part of the question was around some comments that John Banks made on Closer. Without getting into too much detail, does anyone want to comment on that? I've got my own views, but it's not about me on the panel today, is it?
Well, I'd like to comment on that. I think that's my favourite ad too, and the reason why that ad is such a favourite of mine is because it showed how a little group of passionate residents in Otara was able to influence a local government around a social issue, and we were able to mobilise a community with 7,500 submissions to a social issue, to pokie machines in Manukau City. Now, I think that South Auckland is underestimated a lot of times around mobilisation and around a community voice and around getting people behind a project. And I think that the Otara Gambling Action Group, or that ad shows that Otara can do something as big as that and as quickly. I mean, that campaign took almost 2 years to build up to getting that policy adopted. So I think, yeah, not going into details about, you know, John Banks and Lee Brown, but I think someone who can look at South Auckland and not be afraid of South Auckland, and look at South Auckland and say, and can work with the diversity of what South Auckland brings and the issues of what South Auckland brings. I think that is the kind of person that we need to be able to lead a city, because, you know, 20 years time or even 10 years time, Pacific is going to make up a large number of our population. So if we need to have a leader in that role that understands that culture and understands that diversity and can handle the impact of what we know South Auckland can mobilise and make a voice on certain issues.
Leela, was it an issue for you, the whole South Auckland thing?
Yeah, what did John Banks say? I was going to pretend that I knew, but you know.
Oh, it doesn't matter then, if it's moved.
I guess what I was actually thinking about is, with the economic development, I'm thinking to myself, we're reliant on, and I think it's this mindset again of how are we going to raise the literacy and numeracy within the workforces so that they go into management and what have you. Where I guess with me, I'm kind of like tapping in, and I'm in agreement with Alfred, when it's almost like our older people have forgotten how to dream. You know, dream big. We're so limited with what we've actually allowed ourselves to believe that we can capable. I mean, our parents, they're so creative. I mean, who would have thought that you can have a sheet and a window curtain in the same thing, and then after that it becomes a dress. You know, so we've got a lot of creative juices. Maybe we just have, yeah. I came from Central. Yeah. But I'm just thinking to myself, instead of kind of like looking at the negativities, hey, why don't we just take this as opportunities? Instead of being, you know, how can we come up as employees in the ranks? Why don't we just be the owners? Why don't we just, I want to run my own business. So it's kind of like sometimes we've forgotten how to dream. And instead of, it's great that we've actually pitched it at our youngsters in secondary school, but it'd be great if we once more kind of like nurtured the dreams within our parents. I mean, they come from lands where, you know, they were good at plantations and what have you. Man, don't we have farming here where we can kind of like encourage, you can own your own dairy farm and, you know, work the land, because they talk about wanting to retire back in the islands, and, you know, whereas they can still be fruitful here, and we just have to, you know, just plant the dream again, be planters, and, you know, and say why they would want to, why they can be successful, rather than kind of like, you know, only focusing on moving in the corporate, you know, within the industry and the manufacturing industries. And that's fantastic, but if we broaden our horizons and not limit ourselves, perhaps that's something that we should, you know, just pay a bit more attention to as well.
Awesome, thanks Leela. We have another question here.
Yep, thanks. I just want to offer some input to it, really. Just picking up on what Leela was saying about the dreams, for one thing, and what Alfred was saying about the best of Pacifica. And I was thinking, well, what is the best of Pacifica from my perspective? I'm an outsider looking in, essentially. And one of the threads that seems to me Pacifica community does very well is the church and community spirit thing. And then I was thinking, well, you know, a long time ago, Margaret Thatcher said there's no such thing as society, there's only individuals. And that sort of worked itself out a couple of years ago with the extreme capitalism of Wall Street. And now you've got the commentators such as Jim Wallace, one-time spiritual advisor to President Obama, now saying, you know, those values are defunct, we need something new, we need a paradigm change. And it seems to me that we've got here a sort of a cusp with the super city. We've got the opportunity for someone to take the initiative and start pushing new values into the mainstream mindset, if you like. And I was thinking particularly, you know, picking up on what Alfred was saying, surely the Pacifica community is well poised here in the largest city in Australasia to really stand up and say, we have some of the answers you're looking for. And that's all I just wanted to say.
Awesome. Thank you.